feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, how are you? Good to be back at this earlier time slot. Very early in the evening for a lot of you, but like 1 o'clock for me here in Australia. We're already halfway through the working day down here. I know a lot of people are hanging out waiting to see what is going on with Aaron Patterson's appeal. Um, I don't have the documents yet. We are still waiting. I can tell you this morning, I was told that the information we got the other day was correct. That Aaron Patterson has filed an application for leave to appeal, and we will get the documents when we get them. Right now, I don't have them, and doesn't seem like anyone else does either. So as soon as we hopefully, we'll have them later today. Maybe it'll take another day, but hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Yeah, so I'm guessing we got the DPP ones about a month ago, and we were able to get those pretty quickly after it was lodged. I don't know if there'll be any kickback from Aaron's legal team with regards to letting the media have it. We'll see. Sometimes things like that have happen, but maybe we'll have it by the time we do a late show later today. Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see. All right, that is your update for that. So really, there is no update. Just that appeal has been lodged, and we're just sort of waiting on the details for it. I do have a small update about Joanna Brown. Now, Joanna Brown, last night we were talking about her. We saw that her car had been located, and we were sort of speculating on what was inside of that car. We saw a coroner come and pick something up. We saw a white tent put around the vehicle, and we saw detectives combing the scene. Well, the the Worcester Police Department have now come out and said that inside that vehicle was Joanna's body, and that they are actively investigating the circumstances surrounding her death. Is it a murder investigation? I don't know. They're not saying. They're just saying that there's obviously going to be an autopsy done. There's obviously going to be some investigation of her death, because anytime someone young like this dies in a strange situation, of course they want to find out why. And that would be good to be able to tell her family, like, why did she pass away? Like, I'm guessing they are missing her terribly. And they're saying here, at this time, the circumstances around the death of Miss Brown are being actively investigated by the Worcester County District Attorney and members of the Worcester PD Detective Bureau. So the Detectives Bureau, there you go. The detectives are on it. But at the bare minimum here, it is a very sad day for Miss Brown's family. I don't think this is at all what they were hoping for. I think they were hoping she just needed a bit of time away and would hopefully come back or be found, or, you know, come back to them okay. The fact that she was found in this strange car park in her own vehicle, and what they're saying in the back of the vehicle. Now, I can't confirm that, but that is what some of the media was saying last night, that she was found in the rear of the vehicle. So I can't confirm it, but that is what was being said. I heard from a couple of local people who wrote in to my email last night, and they were saying that this particular car park, and I don't think it's got anything to do with Joanna. I'm just letting you know what the locals know about this car park, okay? They're saying that this particular car park is often used for people that are doing they're doing their rugs, rugs, those things that it is often used to facilitate that because it's very private. You can sort of hide up the back of the car park. I'm not saying Joanna's involved in that. I'm just saying that it's a known location for this type of thing. People are saying that there's been several call outs for ODs in this area. Again, I'm not saying that she's involved in that. I'm just saying it's what it's known for. Doesn't mean it's got anything to do with her death. Just that that's sort of what it's sort of locally known as a place for. Yes, Danny, rugs. People deal them and people use them. Yeah, those damn rug dealers, they're everywhere. I think that's what Trump is trying to fight against. All those people who import rugs and that type of thing. Um, Carlisa said we have two packages with important medical supplies, medications at Louisville, Kentucky, UPS, where the plane crashed. I'll get to that in a minute. So that is the update for Joanna right now. There is really no more information. There's very, very little other publicly available information right now. But I wanted to at least update it because last night we were sort of like, we think she's in there, we think so, but now we know for sure she was in that vehicle, and we're just gonna have to wait for the next update from the PD and see what they think. If they think there's something going on here, they will make it publicly known very quickly. I'll bring up one other thing. I'm gonna put this with a giant banner, imaginary banner right up here that says, "This is a rumor." And you should take this information with a giant boulder of salt, something the size of the moon. Okay. On that prefix, I will tell you the next bit of information. Again, take it with that because I've looked into it. I can somewhat confirm it, but not fully. I'm told she had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend is not a very good guy. I don't know if he's involved. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that seems to be the information going around. Again, these very early days of these crimes, there's a lot of misinformation that goes around. A lot of things where we find out later that they're either not true or they are misconstrued or warped to fit a narrative. I don't want to do that to you guys, but I just want to tell you what's being said locally. But again, giant boulder of salt the size of the moon. Take it with that. And then I think that'll be a decent enough exclaimer for that bit of information. But that is what is being said locally. I mean, it might be true, it might not be true. People might be putting uh, two and two together because she had to leave for a personal reason from work at 9 a.m. on Friday. People maybe just be playing, detective at home. But that is sort of what is being said. Khalida said definitely makes sense. Seems like a bad boyfriend is often the cult when a woman goes, or often the cult? Okay. Often the culprit. Wow. We'll see. We'll see. If I get anything I can verify, I will tell you. But that is all I have right now. And just that it's being investigated. But what is interesting, they are asking for anyone who has information surrounding her final days or death to contact them. Now, I wouldn't think, at least in my experience, that they would have anything like a call the detectives bureau or call the tip line or something if they thought this was a accidental death. Like I just don't. I wouldn't have thought that anyway. I would have thought they would have put out a statement saying, "We found her. It's very sad. We wish her family the best and our condolences are with them." You know, that type of thing. Not like, "Hey, it's with the Detectives Bureau. Here's a tip line. If you know anything about her death, call us." So, we'll see what more information we get about Joanna. But at this point in time, Nights with Ping and myself, Ping, the guy who owns the channel, would like to just say anytime we hear these stories where someone that's in the prime of their life, like 30 years old, it's extremely sad. And I can sympathize with their family of what they're going through, especially having a channel like this talking about their daughter's death. I'm sure that is extremely difficult. And we try to be as respectful as we can. Okay, thank you. I appreciate Web Sleuths reposted my stream. Yeah, thank you. Hey guys, good to see you. Um, that is it. That's all I have on Joanna right now. And I'm guessing in the next 24 to 48 hours, we're going to really find out what's going on. But the information we have right now, she was found in her car in this weird car park. We learnt yesterday in our own research that this car park is an apartment building for disability and older people. So it's sort of like government housing, and it's a got this massive car park in it. Her car was found out the back of it, and they found her. Her body was in the vehicle, and now it's been taken away for an autopsy. Hey, Penguin, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Glad you're okay. But I emailed you. I emailed you. You didn't reply. I hope you're doing all right. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about the plane crash. Let's talk about the plane crash. Yes, as Rachel brought up, there will be a lot of people who, unfortunately, may end up with missing mail. I can't imagine they're going to be able to recover very much of it at all. And there's probably a lot of nervous people looking for their mail. But I will preface this with, if you're not in Hawaii, which is where this plane was going, then I think you're going to be okay. As long as I don't think it hit the UPS facility. So if you're in, like, I don't know, Ohio or Texas or Florida, I don't think your mail is damaged because this flight was heading straight to Hawaii. So I think you're going to be okay unless you live in Hawaii and you're waiting for something through UPS. Then you probably should worry about your mail. But right now, it seems like it's just those people. Crazy crash. I'm sure if you haven't seen the video going around, it looks like somebody on another flight. Now I'm going to pause that. You guys can see it. Here's the plane taking off on the runway. It gets some altitude and it's already really, really alight. And then it crashes and you see the giant fireball. What I don't understand is by this point, it's already well alight and you can see the smoke trail behind it, but they continue with the takeoff. Did they not see that it was on fire? Did they not know? Because I would have thought they would have tried to abort the takeoff if they had known. I don't know. They're most likely not alive anymore, so we may not know. But it looks like it was well alight, like it had been on fire for a good amount of time. Yeah, you can see that smoke trail going down the freeway runway, and it seems like, yeah, it had been on fire for ages. It's well engulfed, and you see that big fireball. So that is the question that Ping has: is it even possible to get that far down the runway and abort the takeoff? I don't know. I'm not a pilot, but that's my sort of question. Maybe they didn't know, but I would have thought their instruments would have said there's something going on. The engine's not got power. It's not got enough thrust, maybe. Rachel said that was my question, Ping. Is it possible they didn't know it was on fire? I mean, I guess the pilots are looking this way. Their whole thing is to look forward. They're looking to the sky, to where they're going, not that way, I guess. That would be my sort of logical look at it, is that they're trying to look forward where they're going, not to the wings of the aircraft. But I mean, the question I have is it's just so alight. You know, you see that this is the still photo here. That's not a small fire. It's not like it's just a little, engine fire, and they thought maybe we can circle back and land again and get it taken care of. It's extremely, it's a lot of fire. Kaliza said it happened so quickly. I don't think they knew at first, then it was too late. If that is what happens, it's very sad because I think those 3 people who were on board are most likely not alive. They said earlier, there was a press conference about an hour ago. They said 11 people injured, probably from the surrounding area, and 3 people who are dead, most likely the people on the plane. That they already said there was 3 people on the aircraft, and then it crashed into all these factories. So there's all these factories. If I can get a good screenshot for you, I'll show you. Maybe this one. That's not the factories, but you can see how far this fireball stretched. And I'm going to show you another one out of the area that actually shows you how far this went. It is uh, went for ages. This fireball. Yeah, here. I'm going to play you an update from WCVB.
Take you back there. Police say that injuries have been reported. There is a shelter in place issued within a 5-mile radius of the airport. We've given you the facts that we know of them right now. So joining us right now is aviation expert Tom Kenton. Tom, first, good evening. And second, when you look at this, what are your eyes? What is your expert? What is your mind telling you?
Well, this looks like obviously a major conflagration involving a jumbo cargo aircraft, reportedly an MD-11, which is a very large aircraft. Probably a lot of fuel on board because that's a long-range jet, so it's probably going a long destination. So it had a lot of fuel, and that's what you see burning right now. And, the things to be concerned with is you got to figure out what that aircraft was carrying. Mm-hmm. Could be hazardous materials on board.
It's this particular screenshot that I wanted to show you. Yeah, it was a full tank heading to Hawaii. That is a lot of fuel, a lot of jet fuel. That is the sort of view I wanted to show you. You can see how far that fire stretches, and apparently it took out some very large factories. 2 of them who, if I can find, there was another screenshot that I wanted to show you where you can see it went through and it sliced through what looks like the roof and a wall of a particular factory. And I would guess some of the injuries are from there. I think it's Kentucky Petroleum Recycling and Grade A Auto Parts are the 2. Let me see if I can find that one. I think it's that particular business. Yeah, here. And you'll see how far it cut through the building. Some of the, I know it's a little blurry. Actually, that's a bad copy. Anyway, you can sort of see it cut through that factory and then I'm not sure if it went this way or came the other way, but you can see at least some of it went straight through what looks like a wall and then the roof, and then there's more fire further down. Pretty pretty crazy. And those poor people in that factory, I'm sure they are very scared. They were and hurt too. I'm guessing there's a lot of people in hospital, a lot of people who had to evacuate, leave their jobs. So I'm going to try find a better copy of that one for you so we can zoom in. That's not how we do this. All right. All right, let's go here. All right. Doesn't seem like I can find a more high res photo of that particular factory, which is a shame, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. I'll show you another view of that from the air from WLKY. There's that other view of how far it stretches. It's pretty. We've seen a few aircraft crashes this year. We saw the one in Korea, we saw the one in Europe, and we've seen a couple in America. And this one, pretty brutal. Montana, hey, how are you? Jet fuel and petroleum going to be hard to extinguish. Some of the video shows that they were fighting this fire for hours already. I would guess that the 11 people are most likely people on the ground. The 3 people who died, they haven't given specifics. I would just guess that they're the pilot and the other people on the aircraft, and that the 11 people injured were people on the ground where it went through all these factories and workplaces that you see in the photo here. So I'm guessing they are the people injured. So that is pretty crazy. I mean, I think the NTSB is going to have a large job and investigation trying to find out why this thing just kept going and kept initiating its takeoff. It's a question I would like to know if we ever get an answer to that. Whether they could see the fire, had a plan of attack where they like, okay, we can't get out of the takeoff. Let's try and get this in the air and circle back and then land again under an emergency. I don't know, but I'm not a pilot, unfortunately. Yeah, this might be a better copy of this video. Let's see if we can. There you go. There's some aftermath of it. That big black cloud, smoke cloud just everywhere. And there's another photo where you can see it stretches for miles away from the scene. Yeah, let's get out of that one. Oh, wow. What's this? Oh, wow. I haven't seen that video yet. That's crazy. That plane coming across the top of that factory. Hopefully we see the full version of this at some point. Wow. It just kept going. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you have that much speed and force involved. It's flying on like a tilted angle. Wonder if that's towards the one that had the fire on the engine. There you go. You see it kind of almost flip over as it hits this area, leaving behind it just a giant fireball. That's almost unbelievable. Looks like a movie. He was dumping fuel by the looks of it. Is the NTSB working? I would think that the NTSB would be working for emergencies. I would think that I would think that they would be going to something like this. Danny said, "Breaking news: Ping is not a real pilot." Oh my god, you figured me out. I'm not like Gregory Lynn. I'm not a Jetstar pilot. Uh, I feel inferior to Gregory Lynn now. I mean, he is a Jetstar pilot? I mean, maybe he would know. Maybe we can call up Gregory Lynn and ask him. He might know. He flew these type of aeroplanes, so he might be able to tell us. Danny said, I wouldn't think the US government wouldn't shut down. Yes. I will just say, sure. Gayla said, but I thought he was a Jetstar pilot. He is a Jetstar pilot. I mean, it's a pretty rare bit of information. I don't know how many people know about that about Gregory Lynn, but he is a Jetstar pilot. I mean, that's breaking news. Yeah, that video, I hadn't seen this one before before we played it just then. It shows you the reality. Imagine this is your workplace and you're in this area and this giant plane just comes hurtling towards you and your facility. Brutal. Um, I feel for the people, I really do. Yeah, there's one of those photos. Let's put this up. There's as it came through and it sort of flipped. You can see the wing of the aircraft there. Montana says government's still collecting its taxes. It's a political game. I don't know how the shutdowns work in America. I have no idea. Ping doesn't know. Um, I just know that it's got something to do with you have to vote on something, and then if they don't agree on it, they shut down or something. And I don't know. They don't do that here. In Australia, there is no sort of shutdown like you guys have. I've never heard of them doing that here. Like the government in Australia is, well, for the most part, a 24/7 operation, and I've never heard them having to agree on a budget with the other side, and if they don't agree, then everything shuts down. That's not a thing that we do here. The people in power here do the budget, and when they do the budget, they do the budget, and that's it. Like there's no like the other side of whoever's in power. They don't get to be like, "Oh, we don't agree with that." Like, I mean, they can say that. They can even release their own budget, but no one takes it seriously because they're not in power. So it doesn't really work that way here as such. They just make their budget for the year. They release a giant book. It's like this thick. Yeah, it's like that thick when they do it. Everyone reads it and they're like, "Oh, what's in the budget this year?" And but there's no like bipartisan voting and figuring it out. And if there's something in there they don't like, it's done a little differently to the way the UK and Australia do. Yeah, Gayla's like, nope. Yeah, they don't do that here. So I hope everyone gets back underway, but I would assume the NTSB are working. Hold on. Trying to see if they were present at the press conference. I think they were. Let's see. Trying to see if they got an update on the yeah. Uh, the FAA is involved. The FAA said the airport is closed until at least 7 a.m. on Wednesday, tomorrow morning. The agency also issued temporary flight restrictions within a 5 nautical miles radius over the airport. And they said only relief aircraft operations are permitted in the area. But I don't, yeah. The FAA and the NTSB are investigating the crash. And they say here, we stand ready to support our customer and have offered technical assistance to the NTSB, which I think is Boeing. Boeing owns the aircraft. They're saying that they can offer technical details about the aircraft to the NTSB. So the NTSB are working right now. Gayla said people are still working, just not getting paid. People not getting food stamps. It's all crazy to me. I heard that individually, places like different places, Texas, Virginia, the state government is funding it on like for their people at the moment. So a lot of the lower governments are now funding the food stamp programs for people because it's coming up to things like Thanksgiving and the holiday season. There's a lot of things where that uh, government money needs to be given to people so they can get through. Montana says my relatives working in government jobs not getting paid. It's like crazy to me. Like I've never heard of something like that, and I don't think they, like I said, they don't do that here. I don't think anyone would show up. I think you do that in Australia, no one would go to work. They'd be like, "Nah, screw those people. We ain't going to work. They are not going to pay us. We ain't going." Danny said it's an embarrassment. The US feeds everyone but their own people. What are the food stamps then? Are they feeding foreign people? Um, Donate to local food banks if you can, especially during the holiday season. There's a lot of families out there, especially this year with the rising costs and price of living that's bonkers right now. There's a lot of families who are doing it tough and relying on food banks. It would be nice if people did things like that, or even if you can't afford to donate to them, if you're someone who's retired and you don't work anymore, maybe you can volunteer at one to help pack things and make parcels for people. That's pretty cool. I like people who do that. Um, yeah, yeah. Wouldn't I just don't think people would show up for work. They just wouldn't go. Gail said, I donate when I shop, just little things, but often. I think last year during Christmas, we told you about in Australia, they have they have these Christmas trees in Kmart, and you can like pick a little thing off the tree, and it says like, little boy aged 8, and he likes sports and dinosaurs and things like that. And you can go buy like a gift for the child. So me and Mrs. Ping, if we see it, they don't always have them every year, but when we see it, we try and do that for underprivileged children who are not going to get gifts at Christmas and things like that. Because when I was growing up, my parents made me do that. They made us give one of the gifts that we were going to get to another child. So when we were growing up, they would be like, well, we were going to give you this, and you have to pick a child off the tree and give the gift to them. And they made us do that every year when we're growing up. So Gail said, I donate when I shop, just little things, but often. They have the ones here in the supermarket where you can donate to like the local women's shelter, and they like often want like hygiene products and things like that. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about this. Andrew says Sam Clubs has one for elderly. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Woman of Steel said government workers will be paid when the shutdown ends. If they don't clock their hours, they will not be paid. That is why they're going to work. How do they pay their mortgages and that? Like it's been going on a long time, right? It's not like a week or so. It's like a couple of months. Like, how do people pay their mortgages when they're not getting paid? They have to put it on credit? Like it's very hard for people, especially if there's people living paycheck to paycheck. Penguin said we have angel trees in the USA too, in the churches and other places. I'll have to look into that, Penguin. Gail said our local radio does a thing called Cash for Kids. You donate money and they get gifts for the underprivileged kids. You can also buy a gift to donate. Oh, cool. I saw the credit union will front members the money. Well, that is nice of the credit union. That is good. I hope people are able to pay their mortgages right now. It's and their rent. There's probably a lot of people renting right now. All right, off that topic. Let's get back here. I want to see if I can get you an update. I know they did the press conference like an hour ago. I want to see if we can play that maybe. Let's see. Is it this one? That's not it. Hold on, guys. Yeah, this one here.
At approximately 5:14 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, UPS Flight 2976 from Louisville, Honolulu, Hawaii, an MD-11 with 3 crew members on board was involved in a catastrophic crash here in Louisville adjacent to our airport. UPS will be releasing more facts as available. The National Transportation Safety Board will be in charge of the investigation and will be on the scene shortly. They will be the primary source of the investigation as it continues in the days and in the weeks ahead. I can confirm that there was no specifically hazardous cargo on board of the plane that would create an environmental issue for those around the site, but the impact and where it impacted could create those types of situations. So please, if there is a shelter in place, follow it. Other agencies involved that are at the scene or available, the Kentucky National Guard, Kentucky Office of Homeland Security, the Louisville Fire Department, the Lexington Fire Department, the Bardstown Fire Department, the Shepherdsville Fire Department, Louisville Emergency Management, the Fern Creek Fire Department, Pleasure Ridge Park Fire Department, Fairdale Fire Department, Anchorage Middletown Fire Department, Jeffersontown Fire Department, Airport Police Department, Louisville Metro Police, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, St. Matthews Police Department.
You know, in these press conferences, their favorite thing to do is read out names of organizations. And I never understood it. It's like, okay, you can just say, all the people behind me contributed today. We thank them for their efforts. Do we have to read off a name of 40 different organizations that did something? I don't know anything about what that is. When I was 3, the National Guard brought a bunch of toys to our house for Christmas. I don't know if any Christmas since has felt as special. I hope that the giving trees create the same feeling for kids. I didn't know the National Guard did that. That's pretty cool. Let's move further along. I don't want to hear him read out freaking names of people who helped. Well, they did a good job, but we got information we need to get out.
Outages, please understand that if that's done, that's to protect you and the people working on it. I've been in direct contact with the CEO of Ford Motor Company. I can tell you that the Ford plant there was not hit, though it has lost power or did lose power for a period of time, but with the number of employees working there, that's a blessing. I've also been in touch with the head of security for the convention center, and everyone is sheltering in place that is there. They have stopped people coming in for the upcoming events for people's safety, and I know they'll be sending out additional information. Anybody who has seen the images and the video know how violent this crash is. And there are a lot of families that are going to be waiting and wondering for a period of time. We're going to try to get them that information as fast as we can, but if this is a family you know, please give them your support. Please give them your prayers. Please give them your love and be with them, because the toughest moments, and I can say it from personal experience, are when you're wondering whether that person that you know and you care about has survived something like this. We do not, at the moment, have the status of the crew. Watching that video, I think we're...
So in this press conference, they quote 3 people, 11 injured. There was an update that came out just moments ago that says it's now 4 people killed, 11 people injured. So they must have found another person, unfortunately, or yeah, they either found another person in the wreckage, or someone died in hospital over the last little while. But that's pretty awful. They're saying here, yeah, 4 people killed, 11 people injured, and they're saying, yeah, the 2 businesses struck, Kentucky Petroleum Recycling and Grade A Auto Parts. They said all employees for both of the businesses have been accounted for except for 2 people. So maybe those two, maybe one of those two is the reason the death toll went up, possibly. Three people on the crew of the flight, but it's unclear if all of the fatalities are covering them or people on the ground or vice versa. And they said at the time of the flight, the aircraft had 38,000 gallons of fuel on board, and they said the fire spread a 5-mile radius from the takeoff. 5 miles of just like jet fuel and fire. I mean, it's a really significant crash. We've had some others, and they sort of crash, and there's a fire, and they put it out, and they take the wreckage away. This one, I think, is going to be way more involved than some of the others, unfortunately. They're saying here, locals reported hearing loud explosions as the businesses were struck, and they're saying the local PD received 20 calls for help when the aircraft crashed. They say several agencies are in the area at the time. They urge community members to avoid the area. Don't come down to the crash site. Don't be going down there and filming for social media. They're saying that they will boot you out and possibly arrest you. So they're saying don't go down there. They're saying please remain away from the area until further notice. Airport has been closed. The next flights are probably going to go out tomorrow sometime, and they're saying the NTSB and FAA are mobilizing to get on the ground and start their investigation. So there you go. That is your sort of big update on that. What's interesting? Yesterday there was another story that came out about two aircraft that almost flew into each other in another airport in America, and it was a close call where they almost hit. I think it was might have been another UPS plane. Almost flew straight into another plane because the traffic control told them too late to circle around, and yeah, almost flew directly into another aircraft. So yeah, the air down there would be pretty horrific. They're telling people to close air conditioners if you're in the area. They're saying turn off your cooling and your anything that draws air in from the outside. So if you have an aircon that draws air in from the outside space, turn it off, because it'll draw in all those fumes and smoke. And if you're someone who has asthma or breathing conditions, that's not a good thing. You'll get very ill. Hey SP Mama, how are you? Good to see you. Penguin said, yeah, whatever Penguin said. Good work, Penguin. Penguin knows what's going on. I don't. I just do this. They're saying here something about they want to extend the funding to make sure US airports are paid going into the busiest travel season of the year. Well, that is a good point, but I don't know what it has to do with the crash. Yeah, all right. So I think that's the main points from the another update that just came out. I don't know if they got another press conference set for tonight. I don't think so. I think that's probably it for today. For those of you following along with Gus, little Gus, 4-year-old Gus Lamont, there is an update today. So last week they went and drained the dam on the property, didn't find anything. They're saying this afternoon, there's been an update. The police commissioner, Grant Stevens, confirmed on Wednesday that cops could return to the remote property at Oak Park, north of Adelaide, to search for the preschooler for a fourth time. He says, we've been acting on the advice of survivability experts, doctors, medical staff, into relation to how far Gus might travel, how long would he be able to survive without support or assistance. They said that was a factor that dictated how far we searched and for how long. He says we are continuing to go back because we are still committed to recovering Gus for the family, so everybody has a sense of closure in relation to what has occurred up in Yunta. They're saying he did not provide a timeline. They said search teams would return to the property based on further analysis of data. So that is little Gus Lamont, who went missing in South Australia not that long ago. The little boy out there, there's a photo of him. That they're saying they could head back for a fourth time to look for him on that remote area in South Australia. Everyone who's been on that search, everyone who's been out there to help has said they don't believe that little boy is on that property. They said they've searched, they've been out there for hundreds of hours, and if the little boy was out there, they would have found him. I mean, when you have people who actually worked on the search party for Gus, and they're coming out and even they are saying that they don't believe he is located on the property. I mean, I think you've got a problem. I think you've got a really big problem with you know, normally these type of things are like they're all in the one, they've got the same vision, they're pulling in the same direction. But when you have people who were part of the search coming out and saying, we don't think he's there, I think that's very telling. They say SA police drained 3.2 million liters of water from a dam near the property last week, but found no trace of little Gus. So they're saying Commissioner Stevens said there has been 2 reviews into the search efforts for the boy, peer reviews by experts who have taken an objective view of whether or not things could have gone differently. Those reviews have identified opportunities to enhance what we've done, but there's been no criticism of the search effort. And they saying Monday this week marked 5 weeks Gus has been missing. So 5 weeks, that little boy. We were worried after a week, 1 week, and they were saying back then after 1 week that there's no chance that he would be alive. Like, there's no way he could survive that long. Now we're 5 weeks past the survivability timeline, and still nothing. Not a piece of clothing, not birds circling in the sky, nothing that would indicate a body being out there, just vanished. It's very, very odd. It's very odd. Yeah, the dad lived away from the site. He lived on a different property that he was undergoing sort of like a he was doing up the property in the hope that the little boy would come and live with him at some point. He didn't know Gus was missing until the cops drove to his property and knocked on the door and woke him up and told him that his son was missing. So I don't think he's got anything to do with it. Betsy said it just happens so much. These little children disappear. Yeah. Rachel said, so sad they haven't found him or any trace of him. Nothing. Blaze said, no tracker dogs find a sniff. They've had tracker dogs out there, but no leads, no anything. Just nothing. Nothing to even go off. They found sort of one footprint that may or may not have anything to do with Gus, and that is it. That is it. In 5 weeks and a bunch of searches of the property, they found a possible footprint that could even be nothing to do with him. So, yeah, Betsy, we did. So they did confirm that the body in that car is Joanna's, but they haven't said anything else about her death. They haven't said anything whether they think it's a murder, whether they think it's accidental, nothing. So we're waiting for more information on that. Yeah, I'll show you. For people who missed it when we started the show, I can probably go back here. Go back to a different thing and I can show it to you. Yeah, here.
breaking news in Worcester. Police say they have found the body of a missing woman. 30-year-old Joanna Brown was last seen Friday morning. Last night, investigators were seen in the parking lot outside of Green Hill Towers on Mount Vernon Street, where they found an SUV connected to her disappearance. Brown's body was in the vehicle. The circumstances of her death remain under investigation.
Armed though today? Are you carrying with you right now?
Geez, I pressed cancel on that and it still played the next video. There you go. There's the update. Other than that, we really don't have any more information. Here's the update from the WPD too, just saying that they did locate a deceased female in the area of 27 Mount Vernon Street, and they're saying detectives discovered the female inside the previously mentioned gray Mitsubishi Outlander. The female was later identified as Joanna Brown, who had been reported missing by her family on Sunday, November 2nd. And they're saying it's being actively investigated by the PD, the DA, and the PD's Detective Bureau. So, and they're asking for tips. If you know anything, you should contact the Worcester PD. So that's it. That's the only update on that. But yeah, with Gus, they're saying they could go back to that property for a fourth time. I don't know if they will. Do you think he's out there? I think that's the question I'd like to ask of viewers. Is Gus on that property, or is he not even there at all? I think that's the question a lot of people have. What do I think? I don't know. I think we've been told so many different things in the last 5 weeks. It's very hard to put any one idea on the ground and be like, that's what happened. The police fully believe that he was on the property and he walked away. The cops have never strayed from that line of thinking, and they've never ever introduced any other possibility. Nothing. They have just been steadfast in saying that it is a missing child who walked away from his home. What caused him to walk away? Don't know. What made him leave for a child who never did that before? Don't know. Dale said only if there's mine shafts or something like that to look into. Okay. We'll find out. That is your breaking news. Breaking news for Gus Lamont that they may go back for a fourth time to look at the property. There you go. All right. What else we got on our list for the early show today? I think I've got a couple of stories for you. Who's messaging me? Sorry, guys. Okay. Sorry, someone was asking me a question. I was trying to give them an answer. All right, here we go. Hey, by the way, I want to thank my friend JDR. JDR, thank you for the donation yesterday. And I want to thank Jay. Jay, thank you for the super chat at the end of the show the other night. I didn't catch it until later on, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. Woman still said, I heard that the only neighbors have access to that road. Do you believe that, Ping? The property is massive, like huge. I don't even know how to explain it in a relative term, but it is gigantic. It's bigger than like anything we could understand if you lived in the city. If you're someone who lives in the city and not in the country, it'd be very hard for you to mentally understand how big that property is, but it is just gigantic. It's like a child would struggle to walk out of that property, I think. I don't think they could. I think it would be very difficult unless you had a bike or a motorized something. I don't think you could just walk away from the property altogether. Yeah, it's just vast. Vast is the word that I'm going to use. Jay said it's only the grandmother's words stating that he was in that pile of dirt to begin with. That is true. Although there was other family members at the property at the time. Woman still said, I heard that. Yeah, only the neighbors. Yeah, we got that. Gayla said, can't be in the open if there's things that would consume the child. Yeah, I agree. Betsy said, I think he was taken. Okay. Rachel said, I'm not convinced he's on the property. They seem to have done a lot of searching. I'm not sure we will ever know. It does seem like we're going down the trail of possibly never knowing, or being very much like William Terrell, where there'll be a lot of rumors, a lot of innuendo, years of investigation and searching, and we never getting a proper answer to what happened. It seems like it is very much heading down that timeline. Woman of Steel said, I get it. I spent a lot of time as a kid on my aunt and uncle's 640,000 acre cattle ranch. I think it's very similar to that. Jay said the mum was apparently away with the sheep and another relative at the time. There you go. So apparently they were watching the AFL Grand Final or something, or at least one of them was in the home watching the AFL Grand Final at the time. All right, that is that update we've done. What else do we have for you? I think I got two others. There was a cold case solved today in Melbourne, in Victoria, sorry. If I do that one, we can. Where is it? Yeah, this one here. So you know how we've spoken about in Australia, we have these $1 million awards for very old cold cases that are sort of lingering around. There's been no movement in many years. Well, one of the ones that had a $1 million reward attached to it has been solved. A woman called Melinda Freeman. She was just 26 years old when she was murdered in 1991. Well, it's been 34 years, and now a man has been arrested over her death. It is very interesting. Now, I want to take you out to Victorian Police, and I want to show you something from their video first about the circumstances surrounding her death.
Was found murdered in her home on Yea Road, Whittlesea. Melinda was located having been fatally assaulted in the upstairs hallway of the home she shared with her husband and infant son. Melinda came from a close and loving family and was said to be a doting mother to her baby son. Earlier that day, Melinda and her husband had been at a family reunion to welcome her sister back from overseas. The couple arrived home from the function at about 4 p.m, and Melinda then prepared dinner for the family. Later, her husband and child left the house, so Melinda could be left alone to study for her proposed career in the beauty industry. At about 11:30 p.m. that night, her husband returned home and unlocked the back door before noticing the home appeared to have been ransacked. It was at this time he also noticed that the front door of the house was open. Melinda's husband then walked to the bottom of the stairs, and from there he saw Melinda's body lying on the top story landing. Despite a significant investigation over the
I feel like Kanye. I'm gonna let you finish, but first I have to tell you this. That background music is horrid. Vic Pol, never, ever, ever use that music again when you're trying to convey a message to the public. It is horrible, and it's really distracting to the information you're trying to give to people. I was just watching that too, and I was like, all I can hear is the stupid, ethereal, ghostly music in the background instead of what this officer is trying to convey in their message. So don't do that again. It's horrible. It's a shame because it's actually a really good video.
the events which led to her death. In 2018, police received anonymous information from a member of the public regarding Melinda's death. Homicide Squad detectives are keen to speak to that person and are appealing for them to contact police again in the hope this may provide further avenues of inquiry for the investigation.
All right, spooky music. It's all right. We're already done Halloween. That was last week. We don't need any spooky music. Um, it was that last bit of there that I wanted to talk about. There was a person who called in and gave a tip about what happened to Melinda, and the cops were so interested in it, they came back with that large reward, hoping that this person would call in again. Well, they're now saying that they have charged a man with the murder of Melinda Freeman. There's a photo of her. They're saying that they've charged a 63-year-old Greensboro man with murder over the death of Melinda Freeman more than 30 years ago when she was found in her Whittlesea home in October of 1991 in Victoria. And they're also saying detectives said that the woman had been assaulted and the home appeared to have been ransacked. Interesting. They're saying earlier that day, Miss Freeman and her husband had been at a family reunion, but she had later been left alone in the house to study. Police said her husband returned to the home to find the front door open and the body of Miss Freeman lying on the top story landing. A 63-year-old man was arrested this morning in his home in Greensboro and was interviewed by police. He has since been charged with murder and will face Melbourne Magistrates Court today. Police say the man was known to Miss Freeman. It'd be interesting when we find out the name of this person. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, 63. She was like that age when she went missing. They would have been roughly the same age. We'll see. We'll see. He's apparently due in court this afternoon. Once he appears in court, we should be able to get the name. So once he appears in court, let me see if there's an update. It's already 1 o'clock. I would have assumed he'd already appeared in court. 31 minutes ago. Let's have a look. 12 minutes ago. All right, maybe he has appeared in court already now. Who is the man? Okay, no one's giving out the name of the guy yet. I'm just trying to see if there's a court listing. Actually, we should be able to look up Melbourne Magistrates Court and see the docket for today. Can we see the court list for today? We want Melbourne. It'll be Melbourne Magistrate. No, we don't want that. Yes, we want the criminal list. Yep, that one. For today. All right. Okay. Unless we know the case number, I think we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. There's so many people appearing today on Wednesday in the Melbourne Magistrates Court. There's like 15 pages of people appearing. So, okay, it's not going to be that easy to whittle it down. We're probably going to have to wait to find out the case number or the who it is. So I can't wait. Can we narrow it down to murder? Maybe. Let's see. Let's see if we can go back. Is there a way to? I'd have to go through this entire thing and find out if we could find out the case number. All right, that's not going to help us, I don't think. Oh, type the husband's name in. That's a good point. What is the husband's name? That's a good point. Where is Melinda Freeman? So his name is Craig. His name is Craig Freeman. Is there a Craig Freeman appearing today? Let's have a look. So it's defendant would be here. All right, let's go to the next page. I don't think I can search it the way we want to, but we'll go through it really quickly. So we're looking for Freeman. Okay. Okay, let's zoom out one. There we go. So far, no luck. Let's see. We've got about 10 more pages. Let's have a look. Not seeing anyone with the last name Freeman. No. Craig Turner. There's a Craig Turner. I don't think that's the person we're looking for. We're looking for Freeman. No. No. So far, we're striking out. We're striking out so far. It doesn't look like it. Nope. Okay. Doesn't look like we're going to get an answer. I do not see that name here, so we're probably gonna have to wait until we get a confirmation of who appeared in court on relation to these charges. Because I could probably email the MCV and probably find out. Yeah, there's a lot of names, but not a Craig Freeman. So maybe it's not him. Maybe it's someone else that was known to her. We are striking. We struck out, I think. We struck out. Nope. Doesn't seem like it, so. Yeah, maybe a relative or a neighbor. It could be him. Maybe it's just not listed. Sometimes when it's a late edition, sometimes they don't list it. So nothing on the list of our MCV today. I'm assuming he's going to appear in Melbourne Magistrate anyway. Let me see. Ah. Police had previously said the ransacking of her home and apparent burglary on the night of her murder may have been staged. Well, that's never a good thing for someone to be murdered and then say it could have been staged. That normally means someone is trying to misdirect away from the original intention of the crime. Let me see. Has to have appeared in court already. It's already lunch. So right now they're coming back from lunch. They normally have lunch between 1 and 2. The man was interviewed and charged with murder. 18 minutes ago.
Major breakthrough this morning of the cold case murder of Victorian mother Melinda Freeman. A 63-year-old man has been charged more than 30 years after the horrific bash of death. The 26-year-old woman was found dead inside.
Okay, that doesn't help. Let's check Vic Pol's social media. See if they gave anything. Homicide squad detectives have charged a man following the alleged fatal assault in Whittlesea more than 3 decades ago. The 63-year-old man from Greensboro was arrested this morning and subsequently interviewed by police. He has been charged with murder and will face Melbourne Magistrates Court. So it was MVC or MCV or whatever, Melbourne, whatever they call it, MCV. Trying to see if there's anyone in the comments here that's got a lot of people think the husband did it. A lot of people in the comments are like, finally, he's been arrested, but I don't have that name. When I get it, I will tell you, but right now I don't have it. So when we get a name, I will bring it to you. I'll bring it to you. Hey, Four Sons Mom, how are you? The baby would be over 30 now? Yeah, the child would be like in their 30s now. I don't think we can get it to. Oh, we probably could. Hold on. No, the maximum we can get is 20 per page. Control F. There's nothing on this one. Yeah, we only saw one Craig, I think, on the page. Key search. Let's see, hearing date would be today. Oh, it'd be criminal. Nothing comes up. I'm just trying to. Yeah, Craig Freeman is Melinda's husband. Has remained a person of interest, though no charges have been filed. So apparently, he was a suspect in her death. But when I search his name on the database, nothing does come up, as you can see. Let's see if we go. Yeah. What if we just type Freeman? No. Oh wait, we're well, good work, Ping. We're in the wrong thing. Still nothing. All right, let's try it. Move this back. It's not showing anyone under that name for today. Let's try Craig. Can we go to Melbourne? There's only that one. There's only this one, and that was this morning at 9:30, and it was in person. It was this case number. What is this case? Yeah, I don't think it's this one. That's the only person with that name that's mentioned for today. So unless it's just not on the system, maybe because he was charged today, it's not in the search as of yet. Or there's a reason for it not in there. I don't think we can search by age. No, we can search by case number, hearing type. Well, it would be a mention, right? There'd be thousands of them though. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. But when we search Craig, this is the only one that turns up, and it was for 9:30 this morning, and it was a mention, but I don't know. We'll have to wait. He was arrested in Greensboro. Yes, he was, but it says in the VicPol thing that he will appear in Melbourne Magistrates Court, which is this one. So, Gayla says, "I'm changing my name if I'm a suspect in my wife's murder." Okay, yeah, I don't know if everyone would do that. Hold on. I don't see that name listed with anyone. We'll find out. We'll find out. It'll probably come out in the next hour or two. Kim says, right? Yeah, I guess. All right. I don't have any too much more on it, just that it has been done, and there has been an arrest of someone for it. Charges have been laid, so that's always a good thing. Let's go here. All right, we can check. I'm going to check one other place. Actually, I want to show you this if we can. Look at this. This was the scene. They have some photos here. This was the child's bedroom at the time. This one here. Can we make that bigger? There we go. That was the child's bedroom. I wonder if they're going to show us any of the rands. That was the home, the crime scene. Let's have a look. So there's what it looks like. It's ransacked. There's like a few books scattered around on that bed. There's Melinda. The home, the door open. There's another photo of what they thought was maybe a staged crime scene. They thought maybe someone had done this to make it look like a burglary. So there you go. There's the ransacking photos. There's the front door of the house that apparently was open. And then her body was found at the top of this landing of these stairs. Any more crime scene? Just that one. There's the ransacking of it. Gail said that's just the dumping of drawers. It does look like someone just pulled out. That looks like a jewelry cabinet. This little wood thing at the bottom, that looks like a thing women would hold their jewelry in. The rest of it just looks like, yeah, someone pulled out drawers and dumped it on the floor. Jay said it would be horrible if it was the husband, that poor kid growing up trusting his only remaining parent, and find out 30 years later it was him all along. That is true. Didn't they say no forced entry? Yeah, they said the front door was open. They believe it might have been a staged scene. That's what they said. Maybe. Let's see. No, I really want an update like in the last hour. I'm not seeing a name as of yet. Just that police have charged a man. Yeah. No other name being given right now. Just that he was interviewed by police this morning and that he's due to appear in court. Let's see. Yeah. Miss Freeman's murderer will appear in court, Melbourne Magistrates Court today. Police will allege the accused and Miss Freeman were known to each other. There you go. There's some pretty good clues. Who's getting a cool million? Well, someone called in, and the police were so enamored with the information that they put up that $1 million reward and specifically called out that person who called in the tip and told them to call back and give them more information. So someone could have got $1 million. I don't know if they will get it today, but maybe someone had enough information to claim the $1 million reward. I think it would be the first time that anyone's claimed the $1 million reward in Australia for solving a cold case. I think so. Anyway, I don't think anyone's ever been able to do it yet. Hold on. Has anyone? Here, let me check. Yeah, I don't think anyone has ever claimed the 1 million. I think some people have claimed some smaller ones, like not just like 40,000, 20,000, 100,000. I don't know if anyone's ever actually got the $1 million reward. So maybe this will be the first time that someone will claim it. It was Desi Freeman? I don't think so. woman still said, poor thing, he knew when her husband went to work, I'm guessing. Probably. More people will speak up in the future. If someone does successfully claim it, then yeah, more people might actually call in to give what they know about these old cold cases. So let me see. I'm just trying to see if we have an update because we just came back from court, or we just came back from lunch break at court. So Greenborough. Yeah, I will. I will have to let you know. Maybe by the time we get to the late show, I will know. But we have to get off in a second. Trish is going to start in about 10 minutes, and I will try and come back for the late show, and maybe we'll have updates for this particular one. Maybe we might have the Aaron Patterson documents this afternoon at some point. Maybe by the time I come back for the late show, maybe. And maybe we might have a name for Melinda's killer too. So stick with me, subscribe to the channel, and come back for the late show after Web Sleuth finishes tonight. All right. Hey, I love you all very much. If you support this channel, I appreciate it. And I want to thank JDR again. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. I will be back for the late show. Hey, Emily, how are you, my friend? I'll see you for the late show after Web Sleuth Live. Head over to their channel, support them, watch their show, and say hi to Trish and Insightful One for me. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Jacket feeling cold against your skin, running through the chaos, letting all the sin, temptation in a bottle, ready for the night, craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite, dark desires burn.